Well, it's a very good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to the news. I am Sibigele Maposa. This broadcast is coming to you from our Montreux studios, and Susan Masona is on sign language. I will now take us through today's headlines. President Emmerson Mnangagwa launches a $2 million United States youth empowerment scheme. Today, as a nation, we celebrate history that has been made with Minister Kirsty Coventry elected president of the International Olympic Committee. She is the first woman, the first African, and also the youngest to assume this role. In business news, government outlines a roadmap to fully leverage on the upcoming Expo 2025 Osaka set for Japan. And in sport, Zimbabwe and Benin in a World Cup qualifier. But first, we take a look at the main news. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says a presidential youth empowerment scheme launched in Harare this Thursday unites the aspirations and hopes of Zimbabwean youth. Let's hear more.
They came in their thousands to attend the Presidential Youth Empowerment Fund at the Harare International Conference Center. The president promised them a $2 million revolving fund for the youths. He also promised them 72 tractors. $10 million is earmarked for the youths in the drought mitigation program. Fund the youth and ignite the future is the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme theme launched in the capital this Thursday, the 20th of March 2025. Following various interactions with the youths of this country, the President, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa, was flanked by the Defense Minister, Comrade Opam Chingurikashiri, the Minister of Youth, Comrade Tinoma Chakaire, and the Presidential Advisor, Comrade Paul Tungwarara, said, "We have listened to your voices, and the government is now delivering."
The youth are the future, and you constitute a large portion of our country's total population. Your eagerness, your zeal and enthusiasm to participate in the social, economic and political affairs of our nation gives us as a party and government great pride. The symbolic relations existing between the ruling party's Youth League and the Minister of Youth Empowerment, Development of Vocational Skills Training are mutually beneficial and serve one constituency, that is the youth.
He informed thousands of youths from 10 provinces of this country that youth desks have been established in all government ministries to ensure the ease of doing business.
I'm launching a $2 million Presidential Youth Empowerment revolving fund which is earmarked to fund youth income generating projects. I am giving you 72 tractors, 10 combine harvesters, 10 vehicles for provincial youth, 10 rigs for boreholes. In addition, I'm launching a $5 million Presidential Youth Mining Equipment Scheme. For the young artisanal miners. These two are just but a few of the many that will follow in due course. The Youth Empowerment Bank will administer the fund. My government will be mobilizing more financial resources towards this initiative. Additionally, from the $50 million financing facility that my government is mobilizing to accelerate irrigation development for climate-proofing agriculture, $10 million will be reserved for the youth in agriculture.
President Mnangagwa challenged the market leaders, entrepreneurs, and other patriots to come and assist in mentoring the youths in building their capacity in business.
Discipline and a unity of purpose amongst the rank and file of the youth remain the compass for a united ZANU-PF and a nation that is living in peace and harmony. The youth are the vanguard of the party. As such, you are called upon to remain patriotic, loyal, and united in defense of our colossal mass party, ZANU-PF. I urge you to continue with proactive forward planning and the promotion of results and benchmarks that will propel the overall prosperity of our country. Transparency and integrity in administering your projects is of utmost importance. Do not be found wanting in this respect.
Do not be satisfied with that little business at Murewa, Growth Point. You call it Dotito, Mahusekwa, Gweluchena. Go beyond our borders into SADC, into the continent and globally, urged the President. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, the Harare International Conference Center.
Youth from Zimbabwe's 10 provinces have welcomed the Presidential Youth Empowerment Scheme, saying it will enable them to contribute to the national economy.
The excitement is palpable as thousands of young people from across the country celebrate the launch of this scheme. For many, this marks the beginning of a new chapter in their lives.
From this initiative, me personally, ndasimudzira pakuti business rangu ndinotengesa hembe asi hatichaiti zvemutoriro hatichaiti tauita nemabasa.
President vanoti nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, of which the enabler is finance. Saka pano pasiwa mari $2 million ichadistributwa even across the country, no 10 provinces. So tirikuti kune vamwewo vasiri mumining, agriculture, there are many bankable projects and activities that they can explore.
Tine makosi atakaitiswa ekugadzira nzwara, ekuruka musoro, nezvi takwanisa kutengawo ma-equipments edu, tokwanisa kuita makambani edu, towo ma-hairdresser nemasaluni awo.
Mukana watapiwa na president wakanaka because unotisimudzira mabasa edu izvo zvitatu tingasimudzirika sei. Asi nekuda kwa president zvavari kutaura titorowo mari tichikwanisa kuzodzorera tiita sei zvinotisimudzira nenguva yetobva kwetakatsika.
The fund, which has been allocated $2 million, will be managed as a revolving fund amid hope it will be a game changer for many youths across the country.
Today, you have once again demonstrated that you hold the youth of our beloved nation dearly close to your heart. We are indeed grateful for your continued support. We are profoundly grateful for your wise counsel and pragmatic empowerment programs that continue to transform the livelihoods of our youth.
Your Excellency, makati pa instruction inina machakaire. Mukati election yapera. Mukati udzaimi Your Excellency kuti iko zvino focus yenyu sevatungamiriri vemayouth. Ngaive yekuona kuti mayouth aita mari. Saka tine mufaro mukuru Your Excellency nekuti ndo chirongwa chamauya kuzoparura nhasi.
Special Presidential Investment Advisor Dr. Paul Tungwarara praised the initiative.
This initiative is a testament to your determination and resolve to uplift the lives of our youth, ensuring a bright future for Zimbabwe. Your Excellency, regainditi nhasi ndiri kufara Your Excellency nezvamatitira nhasi nefandi yamaunza kumayouth edu, fandi yamaunza ye2 million kumayouth edu sezvamatiimbisa. Your Excellency, regai nditaure sezvamunoita muchiti nhasi ndafara. Chatifadza Your Excellency ndechekuti mari iyi maidirecta kuti iende kuvanhu vari kure chaizvo nemi, so that the mantra of leaving no one behind it becomes alive. These initiatives that we have done, Your Excellency, we are going to help the youth to set up some workshops in every province.
With financial support, training and mentorship on offer, many young entrepreneurs are eager to turn their business ideas into reality. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe arrears clearance and debt resolution process is on course, with the government and the African Development Bank continually collaborating on the implementation of the roadmap. The president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, and Zimbabwe's debt clearance facilitator, former president of Mozambique, Comrade Joachim Chissano, met President Emerson Mnangagwa at the State House today.
The president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, together with the former president of the Republic of Mozambique, Comrade Joachim Chissano, met the president, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, at State House to discuss the debt challenges this country is facing. Former president of the Republic of Mozambique, Joachim Chissano, and Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, the president of the African Development Bank, one the facilitator and the other the debt champion to the Zimbabwean debt challenges, met the president, Comrade Emerson Mnangagwa, at State House in Harare, briefing him on the progress made so far, coming in the backdrop of Dr. Adesina's departure from the bank mid this year. In the meeting was the Finance and Economic Development Minister, Professor Mthuli Ncube, the Permanent Secretary, George Guamatanga, and officials from the Ministry of Finance and the African Development Bank. Let's hear the two facilitators speak.
We're just here to, as part of our consultations, normally the President has been excellent in terms of supporting the structured dialogue process. He's always been there. He supported a lot of things for the reforms, and we came here basically just to encourage him and to commend him for some of the progress being made, and also identify areas where there are challenges that we can work together on. We are particularly very pleased in commending the President for the progress that's been made on the SME process. That's a staff monitor program together with the IMF. They were here in January and also in February, and we think that that is going well. There's still a number of things that needs to be eye on that, but we're quite pleased with the conversation going on with the IMF. We also commended with the President on what has happened with regard to the land issue. This is a really major issue here. The success of the President and the government with regard to title deeds. Normally it was 99-year leases, now it's moved to full title deeds. They've already issued that to 10 selected farmers, and they also plan to have it for 2,500 farmers by the end of March, so which is actually very, very good. We commended the President for a very difficult decision. It wasn't easy for the President to make that decision about the bilateral investment promotion protection agreement payments to those that were affected. But he took the bulls by the horn, and he did that. And in fact, they have already fully paid 10 of those affected farmers, and there are 75 also that have partially been repaid, and there's another 9, I think, that still remains, but I think they still have to, those farmers have to complete their processes.
About the progress which we are reaching in all the process. So it's a matter of a continuation, and I think that soon we'll have better results. And with the continuation of the bank, I also was worried that where he leaves, what was going to remain, but he reassured me that he personally will continue with us.
Zimbabwe's consolidated debt stands at 21 billion United States dollars, 12.3 billion being external and 8.7 billion local debt. So you have had it, Zimbabwe, despite the debt, it's on the growth path. Ruben Barwe, ZBC News, State of Harare.
President Emerson Mnangagwa has declared the road traffic accident which occurred in Harare this Wednesday a national disaster. In a statement, Comrade Mnangagwa said the 8 people who died in the accident will be accorded state-assisted funerals. The president also consoled families of the deceased and wished the 11 injured victims a speedy recovery. He called on motorists to always be alert and adhere to traffic rules which have changed and are following the harmonization of rules and policies under the SADC Protocol on Transport, Communications and Meteorology. Meanwhile, Harare residents have expressed concern over the rise in fatal accidents caused by unlicensed commuter omnibus operators.
A couple from Harare's Zvarasekwa suburb, Enoch Chanengeta and Sophia Machamba, is among the 8 people who died in a road traffic accident which occurred in the capital along Bulawayo Road this Wednesday. The couple left behind 3 children. When the ZBC News crew visited the family home this Thursday, there was a somber atmosphere as people were still trying to come to terms with the accident, which involved a commuter omnibus, a haulage truck and a Nissan UD truck.
Kombi yakasvika pana Bulawayo Road yakanooroverwa negonyeti nekumashure. Hanzvadzi yangu haina kana kwayakaenda, yakangorohwa ikafirira papi ipapo, vese nemuroora wakafira ipapo. Ndiri kurwadziwa kwakanyanya kuti vana vacho oraiti vasara. Vachachengetwa nani? Hapana chachengeta, ndo vaichengeta vana vavo vari 2 vachitraya kutengesa kuti vaone kuti uita sekurarama.
Residents have voiced frustration over the gross negligence by commuter omnibus drivers amid confirmation by the Zimbabwe Republic Police that the driver of the omnibus was unlicensed.
Vanosiya mawindi achienda nemakombi kumba. Vasiya windi aenda nekombi kumba. Omutiwo kumba kwauri kunokonda nekombiyo. Chitakura vanhu makuseni. Uye nekombi kubasa kwatotakira kushandira. Ndozvo zvirikukwadzisa vanhu.
Zvekuti kondakita chimbochovha asvike pana Bulawayo Road zvakaipa izvozvo. Tatakambotokuturwa futi last week ndichienda kucheka up. Kwakunzi kondakita unogara kuseru kane rasta so. Kwabva kapinda mukombi umomo kubururusa mota kudai murodhi yakanaka kudai. Ndikati nhaiwo dochiuraya here. Zvikanzi aiwa mbuya ndozviriyo.
The enforcement is needed to make sure that whosoever who's driving a kombi ane mapepa akakwana.
Tokumbirawo vasina malicense vedu vanhu ngavasunge anditi because tinopera.
Representatives of transporters associations highlighted the urgent need to bring sanity in the public transportation business.
Kombi yakanga ichidhiraivhwa nechiname zviname ngazvireke kubata makombi. At the same time tikuti madrugs ngaasiyiwe nemadrivers edu. Tikukurudzira zvakare kuti avo vasiri mumaassociations sezvo kombiyo yanga isiri mumaassociation ngavauye vapinde mumaassociation mota dzisuperviswe pamwe chete.
Tikukurudzira hurumende kuti ikurumbidze kuisa mutemo unopa masimba kumaassociation kunge vanga vachizviregurata uye zvakare zvinobatsira kuti vanhu vanga vachiteerera mutemo.
Meanwhile, the Zimbabwe Republic Police has released the names of 7 of the 8 people killed in the accident, saying 1 male adult is yet to be identified. The deceased are Zedi Chikomo, Mary Round, Nyarai Meki, Sophia Machamba, Enoch Chanengeta, Blessing Banda, and Takuzwa Msekiwa. 11 injured victims are admitted at Harare Nyatwa Group of Hospitals. Festus Mkunguru says ABC News, Harare.
While we pray for safer passage as people use our public transportation systems, and also urge that the law enforcement agents take this matter very seriously, ensure that our roads are safe. However, we come to the end of this update from the Montrose News Day. I am Sibigel Maposa, now handing over the baton to Tari and Butler. Butler, it is over to you.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot, Sibu, and the entire Montrose crew there for that bit of the bulletin. And we are now live here from our Pockets Hill studios. My name is Butler Nepure, of course, together with Tariro Manamike. Tariro, great to have you as always.
Indeed, thank you very much, Butler. Good evening.
Now, Zimbabwe has assumed the African Public Procurement Network presidency in a show of confidence in government's policies and commitment to transparency and accountability in public sector procurement.
The official handover takeover ceremony of the African Public Procurement Network presidency to Zimbabwe on Thursday was described by the guest of honor, Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, as a demonstration by government to promote efficiency in public procurement systems in Africa.
As we welcome the incoming president of the African Public Procurement Network, Dr. Keva Ruswa, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations and say to you, congratulations, Dr. Ruswa. Well done. His remarkable track record in public administration and his vision for fostering innovation in procurement systems inspire confidence in his ability to lead the African Public Procurement Network into the next chapter.
Outgoing African Public Procurement Network President Ms. Uengenye Yousi, who is also the Rwanda Public Procurement Authority Director General, described Zimbabwe's assumption of the Continental Procurement Body's presidency as an opportunity for the country to public procurement on the continent.
The network was established to ensure that all the leaders of public procurement in Africa, they gather together to share their knowledge and also to align on the policies that govern public procurement in Africa. Here we are talking about establishing the good legal and regulatory frameworks, establishing the systems. For instance, in Rwanda, we have the EGP system that helps us to do procurement online.
In his acceptance speech, incoming African Public Procurement Network President Dr. Clever Ruskwa, who is also the Procurement Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe Chief Executive Officer, pledged to work for the benefit of African economies.
We recognize that procurement is the vital driver of economic development and social progress. I am committed to advocating for sustainable practices that prioritize not only economic efficiency, but also environmental stewardship and social responsibility.
The African Public Procurement Network is a grouping of 54 member countries whose main aim is to promote the development and integration of the public procurement sector through active cooperation, resource mobilization, and partnerships. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Namibia's President-elect Honorable Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah will be sworn in as the fifth leader of the Southern African nation in Windhoek this Friday. President Emmerson Mnangagwa, alongside other African leaders, is expected to attend the inauguration that will coincide with Namibia's 35th Independence Day celebrations. And we get the details in the upcoming report.
It is going to be historic this Friday as Namibia and SADC will get its first elected female president, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, an event which will coincide with the 35th independence celebrations. Zimbabwe's top envoy in Namibia, Her Excellency Melody Chaurura, indicated the importance of this event.
The President, His Excellency, is attending because, as you are aware, Zimbabwe and Namibia, apart from the bilateral relationship that we enjoy, we also cooperate within the regional framework as SADC member countries. So our president, as the chair of SADC, his coming means a lot in terms of the security objectives of SADC, in terms of the developmental trajectory that SADC is taking, and also in terms of the unity that is enjoyed by the SADC region. We are also talking about our cooperation even at a continental level that is also very solid.
Zimbabwe and Namibia share cordial relations on the political and economic front.
Our cooperation was also elevated to the binational commission level. So we have a number of agreements in that context that we are going to pursue, and the binational commission is going to be presided by the two heads of state. So it's a very important milestone.
The attendance of this event by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, who is also the SADC chair, signifies the relations that exist between Zimbabwe and Namibia. Namibia gained its independence in 1990 from Germany. Bruce Chawanda, ZBC News, Windhoek.
Now, government has called on Zimbabweans to remain peaceful and united in the wake of utterances by expelled former ZANU-PF Central Committee member Blessed Geza inciting civil disobedience in the country. The Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jennifer Muskwere, has since assured Zimbabweans that the government is ready to respond to any acts of violence instigated by individuals pursuing selfish agendas.
We would like to assure the nation that no violent demonstration will ever see the light of the day. Zimbabweans are encouraged to ignore Geza's delusional ramblings. Polemic and reactionary grandstanding is a clear misdirection of ambition. He and his team have no moral nor legal authority to speak on behalf of anyone. They are divisionalists and factionalists, hell-bent on sowing seeds of division, but all their efforts will not bear fruit. He is a fugitive from justice and will not be long before his inflammatory statements are dealt with. He is a self-serving individual, falsely claiming to speak on behalf of the veterans of the liberation struggle, and his rants are nothing but hallucinations. Mr. Geza and his partners in crime cannot rewrite Zimbabwe's history. Law enforcement agents are on high alert, ready to deal with anyone attempting to cause despondency within the country's borders, and no iota of imagination will create disunity within the leadership, both in government and in the ruling party ZANU-PF.
The government is set to construct a warehouse at the Zimbabwe dry port in Walvis Bay, Namibia, to enable it to handle more import-export opportunities, thereby growing the country's foreign currency earnings.
The promotion of trade and investment are integral in the Second Republic's National Development Strategy 1, and in 2019, President Emmerson Mnangagwa commissioned the Zimbabwe dry port in Walvis Bay, Namibia. This Wednesday, Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murira, together with the National Handling Services and Zimtrade, had an appreciation tour of the dry port.
National Handling Services Board Chairperson Advocate Godwin Nyengedza said when fully operational and equipped, the port will play a significant role in enhancing trade.
As the National Handling Services, which has the privilege of operating the Zimbabwe dry port, we handle imports and exports. As part of international trade, people exporting their goods from Zimbabwe so that country can earn foreign currency, and also goods that are required in Zimbabwe coming in through this port. And the dry port is pretty much for facilitation of clearing and transportation through the Trans-Kalahari route.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Professor Amon Murira, concurred the dry port is vital in the achievement of trade and investment aspirations of government.
Zimbabwe's aim is to grow a prosperous, happy society with fulfilling lives. One of the ways of attaining this national strategic goal is to grow the economy and increase trade. Therefore, trade infrastructure and facilitation is a very important component of this whole strategy. His Excellency the President, Dr. Idim Mnangagwa, found it very important to commission this dry port in 2019 so that we have access to Europe and the Americas, as well as West Africa.
The successful implementation of the Zimbabwe dry port here in Walvis Bay is testament that Zimbabwe can grow its economy while improving its trade relations with the global community. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Walvis Bay.
Well, yesterday we were on the brink of history. Now history has been made. Zimbabwe's Minister of Sport, Kirsty Coventry, is the new International Olympic Committee president.
Friends and colleagues, the 144th IOC session has elected as the 10th president of the International Olympic Committee, Mrs. Kirsty Coventry.
It was a historic day in the world of sport as Kirsty Coventry, the Zimbabwean swimming legend, was elected as the new president of the International Olympic Committee, IOS, at the 144th IOS session held in Costa, Greece this Thursday. Coventry, who is the Minister of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, becomes the 10th president of the International Olympic Committee and also breaks new ground as the first woman and African to ever be elected to the influential position. The 7-time Olympian, who is no stranger to records, will also be the youngest ever to assume the role. Coventry, who is Africa's most decorated Olympian, came through a field of 7 contenders in the seaside resort of Costa Navarino in Greece to land one of the most powerful jobs in the world of sport. Coventry vowed to focus on increasing diversity and inclusion within the IOS, as well as promoting the development of sports in Africa and other underrepresented regions.
This is not just a huge honor, but it is a reminder of my commitment to every single one of you, that I will lead this organization with so much pride, with the values at the core, and I will make all of you very, very proud and hopefully extremely confident in the decision that you've taken today.
The IOS president holds dominion over the Olympic movement and acts as dealmaker and diplomat, handling world leaders desperate for the dose of soft power that comes with hosting Olympic Games. Coventry will officially take up the role on the 24th of June when incumbent Thomas Bach steps down following a 12-year spell in charge.
What a moment in history, not just Zimbabwean history, African history, but world history. The first female president of the International Olympic Committee, which makes Minister Coventry the most powerful woman in sport across the globe. Incredible stuff.
Indeed. Now, for these and more stories, be sure to check out our website. That's www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. That's at ZBC News Online on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on X. We still have some more news for you. Now, these are the stories still to come in this bulletin. The government outlines its roadmap to fully leverage on the upcoming Expo 2025 Osaka, set for Japan. And in sport, Warriors draw against Benin in a World Cup qualifying match in South Africa. And on that note, we take a short break, but we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Stroke of genius! Introduce the stroke of genius. Oh, Zimbabwe yakuzosumuka manje. Stroke of genius andiri kureva chera. President E.D. Mnangagwa vari kupa mabankable, registrable and transferable title deeds na every farmer akapuwa munda pa land reform program. Takanga takapuwa minda asi takanga tisina simba rekupinda mumabhengi semama business kuti tipewo maloni akachipa tatakuwara nezvimbazo man. Zvino ne stroke of genius yekupuwa matitle deeds tikupinduka mubhengi sevamwe totopuwa maloni takutodevelopa mafamu.
Saka kuduza kuti land ese yacho nevalue.
Ende ukapuwa title deed iroro chera. Munda wako uchatoreki atova nhaka yevazukuru nevazukuru. Ndo zvinoda fama manje izvozvo. Security of tenure.
Iwe pandiri panapa ndakutokwanisa kutopa vana nhaka kuti chidimu chako ichi chemunda chidimu chako ichi.
Exactly.
Zvichifambiswa sei?
President E.D. Mnangagwa igenius manje. Vakabva vati kuti zvinyatofamba negwara rakatwasanuka zviri transparent. Ndobva vagadza inonzi Land Tenure Implementation Committee iri kushanda nemumapazi ehurumende.
Alright. But you unozviziva iwo kuti kune land barons akazara ukanopamba minda dzevanhu.
Dai vatoregera zvavo. Ndiwo kopo usiri kudiwa na President Mnangagwa iroro. Ndo saka Land Tenure Implementation Committee yakati ngatishandisei ma-ID numbers, number dzepachitupa kuti munhu haakwanisi kuva nemafamu maviri. Plus Land Tenure iyi committee haisi kupa minda pachayo. Iri kutwasanudza pakupiwa kwema-title deeds.
Alright. Iwe saka zvichida kuti tato-protected kase mavarimi.
Exactly manje.
Kukozwa
kuti une stroke of genius here. President E.D. apa vasikira vana veZimbabwe upfumi.
Zimbabwe, with His Excellency the President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa's Vision 2030, is forging a path to a prosperous upper middle income society, building on the Transitional Stabilization Program, where We're concluding NDS-1 and preparing for NDS-2, aligning with SADC, Africa's Agenda 2063 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Over 6,000 vital projects across 14 thematic areas have been executed and rigorously monitored through performance contracts since 2021, ensuring accountability. On March 24, 2025, all ministers and senior public sector officials will gather at State House to publicly reaffirm their commitment to accelerating Vision 2030. This drive focuses on sustainable economic growth, job creation and poverty alleviation, benefiting every Zimbabwean. Progress is meticulously tracked with transparent public results showcasing target achievements and areas for improvement. Join us for the performance contract signing and award ceremony, 24 March 2025, 9 a.m. live on ZBC TV or online. Remember, what gets measured gets done. And we're building a better Zimbabwe for all.
Zimbabwe never tungamiri vakarongeka, tracking the progress towards Vision 2030. Ilizwe lakiwa ngabanikazi balo, tigadzire mabasa lokuqeda inhlupheko. Hande tinoshandira Vision 2030.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The government has extended the deadline for the payment of the ZimSec November 2025 examination fees to the 16th of May, and the upcoming details are, the upcoming report gives us the details.
In a significant development aimed at alleviating pressure on students and parents, government has extended the deadline for payment of November public examination fees from the previously scheduled date of March 28 to May 16, 2025. This was announced by the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Tolerai Moyo, on the sidelines of the Senate question and answer session at the new Parliament building in Mount Hampden this Thursday.
We received a request from parliamentarians this afternoon in Parliament, and they were requesting that the date be extended. And in consultation with the Zimbabwe School Examination Council executive, we agreed that the date be extended to the 16th of May 2025.
The extension is expected to benefit thousands of students across the country. This Thursday's Senate session also brought to light other critical issues, including government's ongoing campaign to remove vendors from the central business district of town across the country.
Hurumende ine urongwa hwekuti mavhenda edu anga achiitira basa panzvimbo dzavanosungirwa kunge vachiitira. Changa chakunyanya kuitika ndechekuti munhu anga achingofunga dunga munhu ari kumba kwake zvinhu zvaanenge auya nazvo zvatisingazivi kuti zvauya nemwero upi pamukova okei.
Payment of outstanding benefits of veterans of the liberation struggle and the need to construct schools to cater the needs of people with special needs also came up for debate.
yekuti zvakafamba sei takanoita kare saka pagazeting yedu iye zvinotiri pahurukuro naMinister of Finance.
Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Mount Hampden.
Now, industry has hailed the government's policies aimed at improving the ease of doing business, saying they're yielding positive results for Zimbabwe's manufacturing sector. Yolanda Moyo has more.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Industry and Commerce, which is on a tour of several industry players across the country, was in Bulawayo this Thursday, where it engaged United Refineries Limited. Among the government policies welcomed by industry are currency stabilization strategies and the targeted finance facility designed to provide affordable capital to manufacturers.
We are seeing a certain level of stability at the moment, which we are very appreciative of. We're seeing the disparity between informal and formal rates converging together, which is allowing a better conversion through the willing buyer, willing seller markets, which we are very appreciative of. So we are looking forward to the stability continuing.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee's visit underscores government commitment to supporting the manufacturing sector, which is seen as crucial for economic growth and job creation.
The committee, we are very happy, and going forward, what we are going to do is, out of those issues that have been raised, these are the issues that we are going to present in Parliament, and other parliamentarians, they are also going to debate, and then the executive is going to respond. But preliminary findings from you are, we are happy as a committee with the trajectory that is there.
The government's focus on improving the ease of doing business is intrinsically linked to the objectives of the National Development Strategy 2, which seeks to, among other things, promote innovation and industrialization for the nation to attain an upper middle income society status by 2030. Ilandmo, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The inaugural Livestock Conference started in Bulawayo this Friday with focus on innovative practices meant to enhance livestock production.
With the livestock sector having suffered a major blow from the El Nino-induced drought last year, the first edition of the two-day Livestock Conference, being hosted in collaboration with the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, attracted players into livestock production, business people and government officials. Policy frameworks and strategies to grow the livestock value chain came under the spotlight.
We are looking at interventions, policy interventions that will improve the viability of livestock farming. For instance, we need government to intervene and remove the process of the fifth quarter, where abattoir operators take the offals, the hide, the head and the hooves for free, which is the fifth quarter. We want that scrapped and we want it retained by the farmers because it has an income. If they take it, they sell it, they don't give it for free, and there is no justification why they are claiming and taking that fifth quarter.
Livestock is very important for the economy of the country in the sense that we are just emerging from the El Nino drought. And at this moment, it is key and important for the strategies to be formulated in a wholesome manner.
Livestock plays a critical role in farmers' lives. Everyone wants to raise livestock because they know at the end of the day they will get money. So this conference, I think it came at the right time.
The livestock sector is vital to Zimbabwe's economy as it supports approximately 70% of the rural population.
Livestock farming provides essential income for families, contributes significantly to food security through diverse animal products, and holds deep cultural significance in traditional ceremonies.
Running under the theme, Transforming Livestock Futures, Strategies for Resilience and Prosperity, the two-day conference being held at the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair Exhibition Center seeks to enhance the growth, profitability and sustainability of the livestock sector. Lisa Masuku Kurura, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Well, that report takes us to a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at your business news and later on sport.
Yalibingelela mule Zimbabwe futhi ngiyalamukela mina ngiphindile Juma
ngizakini ngentokozo lendaba esegudwini ezithi zona umprofethi uKhaphu Philip wase-Ivory Coast uzabekela yakithi ngalumabasa 2025 uzabele izinkonzo zokusilisa emadolobheni ahlukeneyo uzaba seHarare mhla ka-3 kusiya ku-9 Mabasa abe koBulawayo mhla ka-11 kusiya ku-15 Mabasa abe seGweru mhla ka-17 kusiya ku-18 Mabasa abe seMasvingo mhla ka-19 kusiya ku-20 Mabasa abe secina ngeMutare mhla ka-21 kusiya ku-22 Mabasa. Wozani ngobuningi lizohlangana lokusiliswa lokukhululwa mahala.
Zimbabwe, with His Excellency the President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa's Vision 2030, is forging a path to a prosperous upper middle income society. Building on the Transitional Stabilization Program, we're concluding NDS-1 and preparing for NDS-2, aligning with SADC, Africa's Agenda 2063 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Over 6,000 vital projects across 14 thematic areas have been executed and rigorously monitored through performance contracts since 2021, ensuring accountability. On March 24, 2025, all ministers and senior public sector officials will gather at State House to publicly reaffirm their commitment to accelerating Vision 2030. This drive focuses on sustainable economic growth, job creation and poverty alleviation, benefiting every Zimbabwean. Progress is meticulously tracked with transparent public results showcasing target achievements and areas for improvement. Join us for the performance contract signing and award ceremony, 24 March 2025, 9 a.m. live on ZBC TV or online. Remember, what gets measured gets done, and we're building a better Zimbabwe for all.
Zimbabwe nevatungamiri vakarongeka, tracking the progress towards Vision 2030. Ilizwe lakiwa ngabanikazi balo, tigadzire mabasa lokuqeda inhlupheko. Hande tinoshandira Vision 2030.
When I first heard about Showmax, I was like, what's a Showmax? No wires, no extra gadgets, no watching at this time or that time. That's because Showmax isn't a TV channel. It's a streaming service. That means all you need is the internet and something smart, like my phone. Instant access to tons of hit series, movies, and more.
Best of all, there's something for everyone. So, what are you waiting for? Sign up for Showmax now.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We'll now give you the business news. The government has outlined its roadmap to fully leverage on the upcoming Expo 2025 Osaka, which will begin in less than a month's time in Japan.
The Japanese embassy in Harare this Thursday played host to dignitaries from government and the private sector to outline the significance of participating at the Global Expo just less than a month before the event kicks off.
In case of Zimbabwe, the National Day is July 16. This will be a very good opportunity to show the presence of Zimbabwe and let participants from all over the world get more information about this beautiful country. Japan is eagerly waiting the visit of His Excellency Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, to Osaka.
Government officials who participated at the session said there are several opportunities at the Expo where Zimbabwe will showcase its rich cultural heritage and renowned tourist attractions.
Expo 2025 in Osaka provides as well a stage for us to showcase our culture, people to people, having an interaction of understanding what the people in Japan would want or they are expecting us to be doing in terms of promulgating our tourism sector and making it attractive to your market.
We stand ready to strengthen our bilateral and multilateral engagement, and we view Japan as a key strategic player in our development agenda.
Zimbabwe's pavilion at the Expo is uniquely designed and well positioned for exhibitors to market Zimbabwe to the outside world.
We also have a section on opportunities where we will showcase the country's trade, tourism, and investment opportunities, outlining our position as one of the most favorable destinations for the aforementioned areas. And the last section will focus more on the future, which is more the theme of the Expo itself.
Osaka Expo 2025 will be officially opened on the 13th of April and will run for the next 6 months until the 13th of October. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
And that they are a look at business news. When we come back, we'll look at sport.
The University of Zimbabwe is in the process of selecting first-year candidates for the August 2025 intake across its various programs. To this effect, the university is inviting applicants who have achieved a minimum of 12 points across 3 relevant A-level subjects for further assessments for candidates who applied for the following programs as their first choice: Bachelor of Science Biomedical Sciences, Bachelor of Pharmacy Honours Degree, Bachelor of Science Honours Radiography, Bachelor of Science Honours Biomedical Engineering, and Bachelor of Science Honours Accounting and Finance on Thursday, 20 March 2025 at 0800 hours. Bachelor of Laws Honours Degree, Bachelor of Science Honours Social Work, Bachelor of Science Honours Actuarial Science, Bachelor of Science Honours Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Bachelor of Science Honours Mining and Geological Engineering, and Bachelor of Science Honours Civil Engineering on Friday, 21 March 2025 at 0800 hours. Invitations will be sent to all applicants through SMS messages, and UZ application ID numbers will also be displayed on the university website. Interviewees are kindly requested to report to the University of Zimbabwe campus in Mount Pleasant for this final selection process, starting at 0800 hours in the Great Hall on the date specified for the program you applied for. All applicants should come in person for this mandatory selection process. Please note that this is not a new call for applications, but is targeted at those applicants who have been individually invited. The University of Zimbabwe, educating to change lives.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
To the back of the net!
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
This is the time to take risks.
Incredible!
I've heard good things about you. Don't let me down.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Let's take a look now at sports. The Zimbabwean Warriors coming 2 goals down to force a draw against Benin in a Group C World Cup qualifier played in Durban, South Africa today. And that match was coming live. Let's take you through what transpired.
After a faulty start that saw the Warriors conceding 2 early goals, Captain Marshall Munetsi and former skipper Nole Jimsona spearheaded a spirited comeback for Zimbabwe to force a 2-2 draw against Benin in a Group C World Cup qualifier. Munetsi pulled one back just before half-time and Musona completed a comeback just before the hour mark, and the Warriors could not find the winner despite dominating their opponents in the second half. The stalemate means the Warriors have collected 3 points in 5 outings of the World Cup qualification campaign, while their opponents have collected 8 points from the same number of matches. Before the match, President Emmerson Mnangagwa had pledged $150,000 United States dollars in winning bonus for each of the Warriors matches against Benin and Nigeria on Tuesday next week. Mthokozi Stule, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Army side Black Rhinos have set sights on making a swift return to the Premier Soccer League, having finalised their squad for the 2025 ZIFA Northern Region Division 1 campaign.
The Northern Region Division 1 side Black Rhinos are determined to reclaim their place in the top flight this year despite the stiff competition expected in the ZIFA Northern Region Division 1 League. This Wednesday, Chawa Pembere unveiled their squad and new football kits in the presence of club legends and corporate stakeholders highlighting their ambition for the season ahead.
I want to convey a message from my fellow teammates. We are ready to go. The determination within the team is palpable. We are committed to bring Black Rhinos back into the Premiership, where it belongs.
Want to win the league, yeah, Division 1. How do we win that? It's you, technical side, to be together, to put your plans together and work together as a team.
You have heard from the legends how the team is held in high esteem. So it is now up to you guys. The baton is now in your hand. Take us to the next step.
In a speech read on his behalf, the club patron and Zimbabwe National Army Commander, Lieutenant General Anselm Sanyatwe, emphasized the importance of supporting clubs and their contribution to the development of football in the country.
The well-being of our teams, not only Black Rhinos, is key to our existence as an organization. This year, as we usher in this team into the Northern Region Soccer League to compete, let me call upon the players to understand that they do not just play to enjoy or get accolades, but they represent a renowned and disciplined organization.
Last season, Black Rhinos finished third after a hard-fought campaign against well-funded teams such as Scotland and Moors, who are now playing in the Premier Soccer League. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
In rugby, the Zimbabwe junior rugby team, the Young Sables, warmed up to the upcoming Bates tournament by beating Australian backside Outbacks Barbarians 39-32 in Bulawayo today.
The new Zimbabwe Rugby Union executive has hit the ground running after convincing Australian-based Outbacks Barbarian side, who are on a tour of Southern Africa, to play friendly games against the Young Sables at Hartsfield's grounds in Bulawayo. The Young Sables, who are using the tournament to prepare for the annual Bates tournament, got a preparatory boost after beating Outbacks Barbarians 39-32 this Wednesday. Zimbabwe Rugby Union President Lawson Mtonguza said more synergies with rugby playing nations will dominate its executive's reign as it seeks to improve the sport.
Well, we are obviously very excited to have the Australian Outbacks, and as soon as we found out that they were in Southern Africa and they were playing a couple of games in Southern Africa, we jumped on the bandwagon and requested that they pass through. And we're glad that they took that up because, as you know, normally around this time of the year, we host the Bates tournament, which brings in Namibia, Kenya, and Tunisia for the under-20s. So it's a fantastic opportunity.
Australia will be hosting the World Cup in 2027, and Outback Barbarian representative Andrew Cleese says the future looks bright for Zimbabwean rugby.
So we came to Zimbabwe, got in yesterday. Obviously been doing a bit of homework on the boys. They're well coached, they're well drilled. They look like the age group will be the difference. So they'll be strong, they'll be fast, and they'll be fit, being so young, which will be a challenge for our guys. But the cross section of our fellas, so we've got a number of 18, 19s all through to 30. So
the annual Bates tournament featuring Kenya, Tunisia, Namibia, and host Zimbabwe is set for Harare from the 17th to the 28th of April. Mchokozis Dube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
And that story concludes tonight's news bulletin. From all of us, it's good night. As we're celebrating the women in this month, we are going to start off this week's episode of iAfrica with Naka Gallery, which has an all-female exhibition called Seasons, because the seasons of a woman's life vary. They ebb, they flow. And then we'll go into the second segment where we have a female photographer. But we bring balance. We will always bring balance to the show. We will end with a male. And this is an illustrator called Bill Masuku. This is iAfrica.
iAfrica searches for inspiration and innovation in all areas of popular culture, from fashion